What's up and welcome to the Los Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Eslam, aka Raw God of the Sun, accompanied by Dan Papas and Killer. No Emperor Disco. He got stuck at work. Fucking loser. What's up, everybody? How's it going?
I hope everybody enjoyed that. That's the last bit of energy Eslam's going to give for the rest of this fucking episode of the podcast. I didn't know he had it in him. He was saving it. This man barely moved the entire time we were setting up this episode. Like, you haven't moved. I
look at
know. Bro, you're tearing up after saying all that. Like, are you good? Do you need a second?
It's my nose, man. I don't know what's going on with my nose. I need to go to the doctor and get it removed.
You gave the last of what you had for that intro.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
wild.
Well, good night, everybody. It was nice talking to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Oh, man, that's wild. Your final thoughts are really going to be your final thoughts.
Facts.
That's wild. Oh, man, it's good to be here, Eslam. I'm upset that you're sick.
Well, not yet, but getting there. Let's see what happens.
Sick.
Not yet. I'm not sick yet.
Oh man,
slowly getting there. What's up, Henry? Happy birthday.
Hope you're doing good, Henry. I was sick. I was sick for about 2 to 3 days, and then I said, "Nope, I'm done with this," and I got better.
Good shit.
Yeah,
mind over matter.
That normally doesn't happen, so I'm pretty happy it worked out that way this time.
Mind over matter. All right, Dan. Why don't you tell them what we're talking about today?
All right, let's tell what we're talking about. So. Everybody knows what a CEO is, right? A chief executive officer, the people that run the company. In some companies, they have COOs. Where the D at? He's not able to make it today. Just go.
Yeah, he got stuck at work.
Yeah, there you go. He'll be here. He'll be here for the next one. But yeah, CEOs. What the fuck are they doing? Why are they making disco late?
What, you know?
But no.
They know we have more important things to do.
Exactly. So we're going to kind of just go through a couple of different things in like entertainment industry or anything else if you come up with, Eslam.
Yeah.
Outside of, just CEOs. It's like a lot of times you have like the creative people, the people who are kind of closer to the ground floor that have an idea. They know what they're doing. They're going to do stuff that's really successful. And the CEOs are like, yeah, I like that, but let's change everything and lose money.
Yeah. So. Because I don't know who they hired to be CEOs. And whether it's from like the industry or like someone outside the industry, but like CEOs, I think, if I'm not mistaken, their job is to make the company profitable, and then they start making these decisions that they think is going to make the company profitable, and depending on which sector you're in, sometimes they just don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. Sometimes they just kind of fill people in. They just, hey, you're in this spot because you've been here for this long and you're the next tenured person.
Yeah.
Sometimes they pick people through elections where they decide, hey, this is the most unqualified person. Let's let them run the country.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
Because they do that twice. I don't know.
Yeah. Might be 3 times. Because he can change the rules now. So
sometimes they can do that shit 3 times with different people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But so we're gonna kind of talk about that. So the reason why this came to mind for me in particular, and I was telling Eslam beforehand, was some of the stuff that's been going on in gaming. No secret here. Anybody who knows me, has ever talked video games with me, knows that I am infatuated with a franchise called Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
And me too. I put you on Mass Effect.
Yes, you did, sir.
Remember that. Anybody ever asks you like Mass Effect? You say, yeah. Dan put me on it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to know who I am.
I will.
You let them know.
I'm telling Dan put me on Mass Effect. Dan put me on Last of Us.
Yep.
Dan put me on. He gave me a PlayStation 4.
Yep. Don't hurt yourself.
Play these games.
Remember that time we were doing that the game thing where it was Yumi and Disco, and we were like asking questions. It was like the gaming related one, and I had to like guess different games that you played or something along those lines. And we had the audience was playing, so Henry was playing as well. And every time you had to list a game, I was getting it right. And Henry goes to the chat. He's like, "Yeah, he knows it because he told Eslam every game to play."
Yeah.
Like, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't remember any of that happening, but those are facts.
Henry, help me out.
You're spitting fat. No, I believe you 100%.
Henry, put that there so everybody on YouTube can see it. He says, "I remember." Eslam, those are 2 words I've wanted to hear my whole life.
From me?
I want to be able to know from just you, Disco, my family, because there's times where I think I've lost my fucking mind. It's just like,
You
am
know
I
what's fucked up?
what?
If, like, all of us, including your family,
Just
was
got
like,
together, just
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
just
When I tell you I've thought of it,
the longest prank ever. It's so long that we just believe it ourselves now.
yeah, it actually
I even
happened.
tell my parents I forget,
Yeah,
and Nadia and everybody.
yep. Oh my god, it's thank you, Henry. That's why you're the number one fan because you
Yeah.
remember to tune in every week. So we're gonna talk about our CEO. So BioWare, Mass Effect, some stuff came out in the news today. Where let's see, I did find what you were talking about, Eslam. So you were right. BioWare cut staff, shuffles others to different EA teams amid a Mass Effect focus.
Mm.
This article, if anybody wants to check it out, it's the game developer. It's written by Justin Carter. So give them a click. They wrote this. So yeah, first of all, one thing I want to start off with in the title there, BioWare lays off a bunch of staff. BioWare cut staff. And it's funny because I don't remember that part. And it's so fucked up because it happens so often that I think of it, I was like, oh yeah, I even told Eslam, another company laid off a bunch of people, another company cut their staff. This is just a regular thing that happens all the time in gaming. Uh, and it's a shame. And a lot of this is due to when COVID was happening, a
Mhm.
lot of people, Islam yourself included, people being stuck at home, they took to gaming.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing changed the world.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of different things that kind of took place. I'm going to talk about that Dragon Age comment in just a second, Henry. But what's it called? So there was like a lot of things. So gaming had a huge upswing. Everybody was playing video games. People who never cared about video games or sort of had like USLM, you were kind of there and it got you back into it for a short period of time. You're
Yeah.
out there, you're playing games, you're doing stuff. PS5s went on sale towards the end of 2020. So PS5 sales, it was impossible to get them. Parts
Yeah.
for gaming PCs were hard to find. Gaming was just going on forever. CEOs decided we're going to hire a bunch of people. We're investing a shit ton of money into everything. We're going to put all our monies in there and we're going to do all this other stuff. They didn't sit there and think people are gaming so much because they're stuck at home gaming. When things open up, are those people going to still game? Some, yes. Some, they're going to go back to their lives and they're not going to have time to play every game, buy every console, do this, do that. So, a lot of these people, yeah, you're not the only one. A lot of these people were hired thinking, hey, I got this job. I'm working at my dream job. I'm doing this. And video games have always had a bad rap for you work for a company, you release a game, you get laid off. You work for another
Mhm.
company, release a game, you get laid off. And now it's just people are quitting the video game industry altogether. You have people who move to these studios to make games. They pick up their lives, their families, and everything because they have this job. And now they're being told, hey, you moved your life here. Sorry, you're gone. And it's something where it's like it's kind of common sense. I don't think you need to be a CEO or be smart to know that people are gaming because they're stuck at home. People are not going to game when they go out.
Yeah, yeah.
But they didn't think that. I mean, what do you think about that, Aslan?
You think CEOs be smarter, or they do
You would hope so.
research?
You would hope so.
Yeah,
Or they would pay people to do the research for them and listen to
exactly.
those people.
Um, so in my personal experience, I was one of those people. I
Mhm.
definitely I was. Everybody was stuck inside, so I was too, and I didn't have to commute, so I didn't have to wake up early to go to work. I literally woke up like 10, 15 minutes before, went to the
Yeah,
bathroom, got ready, went on my computer and started working, finished work at 6, and I can start gaming by 8, go to sleep at 12, rinse and repeat. Um,
exactly.
so I got through like a few games during like that first and second year of the pandemic
Bro,
when
the
we were
Last of
like,
Us franchise, Ghost of Tsushima,
yeah,
like Horizon during that time, I think
Horizon
maybe.
Zero
Yeah.
Dawn. I played the Mass Effect series, the Legendary
These are
Edition.
not short games.
No, they're not.
These are not short
Um,
games. These are full length single player story epics that you played
yeah,
in that short period of time.
and I played, yeah, so I played all those games, and yeah, I mean, listen, it was a lot of fun while it lasted. Then stuff started moving again, getting married, doing all this stuff.
Elden Ring
Um,
for Henry. Yeah.
yeah, and now it's a grind. I finally got the PS5 this year at the beginning of this year. I and then I jumped straight in to play Jedi Fallen Order. Played it again just to get back into the story. Playing Jedi Survivor now, and gonna keep going. But I play when I can.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a lot of people I'm sure just fell off and stopped playing at all.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
especially because like okay, now you're not getting stimulus money.
That's a
Inflation
good
is
point too. I
crazy.
didn't think about that. Yeah.
Inflation went up like crazy,
Yeah.
and then you go back to work, you probably need like two jobs just to make ends meet because like rent went up, gas went up, food went up, electricity went up, like all your utilities, like they started charging more. Like it's just everything has just been crazy. So yeah, no, and because of all that, I'm sure people have way less money to spend on the luxury of a video game now
And time.
and time. So I mean, even if you have the time but you don't have the money, you still can't really
Exactly.
play anything. So I mean, they didn't really yeah, they didn't plan correctly for this
Yeah.
stuff.
Fun fact. One thing I wanted to mention is another side tangent. Some of the most played games. I forgot which metric measured this or whatever, or who put out the article. But I remember reading that most games that are being played in the past like year or two have been games that are like from years ago.
Yeah.
There's just people who are going out and they're playing Minecraft. How old is Minecraft? They're going out
Because
and playing
it's very
Minecraft
cheap
consistently.
or it's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
Fortnite, which came out a while ago, which is free.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like Roblox. It's free.
Free.
Old
Yeah.
games, but it's free, and they keep going back and they keep playing them. So I'm gonna get into free versus not free later when I talk about some Sony stuff. But yeah. So one thing I want to talk about is kind of get back into Bioware. So they laid people off. That's not just them. You got Xbox has been doing it too. Uncle Phil Spencer, that everybody loved. It's kind of turned the other way. He's one of the biggest proponents of laying people off, and he's one of those guys. When you look at when you look at Phil Spencer, granted, he's a CEO guy. I mean, he's in charge of Xbox and everything. He's a thing. Never trust a company you never know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who they are. That's a company, that's a corporation, that's not people. He always came off as a nice guy. Maybe it's a facade, you don't know. But it's like the more people have gotten laid off, the more weight this man has lost. He just keeps losing weight. And like I saw him the other day, I barely recognized him. I was like, is he okay? Like, and it's like he's gone out on podcasts, like different various podcasts, and he's even like, I didn't want to do it. We had to do it. Like he takes his punches. He doesn't like deflect like most CEOs do and stuff like that. He's in there as like, we fucked up. Like, hey, we lost this console, this generation. We lost it to PlayStation. He said we are
Mhm.
third place. Nobody ever says that. And he's like, we did
Yeah.
it. I'm going to tell you why we're in third place. I'm going to tell you how we're going to try to improve. But I'm going to be honest and say this is the truth.
Yeah.
So I always respected him for that. Don't like the fact that he's laying all these people off, but he has a boss too. He doesn't run Microsoft.
No.
So
And his boss is the devil.
exactly. That's why I wanted to point out he works under Microsoft.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got that. Anyway, you got BioWare. So Mass Effect has I've heard that there's a lot of production issues with this, that, and the other. Like I read in the title of that article, they're moving teams around, this, that, and there's a lot of issues going on. Henry in the chat had stated he bet it's from the failure of Dragon Age, which is such an upsetting thing because I don't have the numbers in front of me. If you don't listen to the people who talk about, hey, we don't like DEI, we don't want politics in video games, those people, if you kind of silence them and you look at the people who review the game for it being a video game, their biggest complaint was this Dragon Age is not like other Dragon Ages. It plays differently. It's kind of like a different type of game. Other than that, it seemed like a pretty good game. People who complain about wokeness. So if that's something you don't agree with, disagree with, whatever, personally, I love having politics in video games. Why do you think people like Game of Thrones? It ain't just the boobs. People like politics. So
They don't have much boobs anymore.
Thank you.
which I'm okay with.
I prefer that.
I
I've
love
been
the
that.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole thing is a political drama. That's the
Yeah.
show, and it's intriguing because of that. So like that's one of the things where people say that's the reason for Dragon Age's failure. Sold very well, did good. I heard it had a great story, but it didn't hit the numbers they wanted. Ubisoft is another company. They come out, they release games that they sell well, but they're like, see, you're hitting a 99th percentile. We needed to hit 200, so we're gonna have to close your studio down. And it's bullshit because Ubisoft is probably going to be sold to another company within the year, and
Mm.
it's because they've made multiple decisions. They've laid people off. A lot of people lost their jobs, and now they've hit a point where it's just like we could make the best or one of the best games. They made Prince of Persia last year. It was a small indie game. It did very well, but they're like, you got a B plus, but we needed a Z above an A. I went with Dragon Ball grading,
Okay.
and you know that's a whole other thing with CEOs.
You needed an S class game, not even a
Thank you.
triple A.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, it's impossible to hit that. You can't hit that.
I think GTA is gonna be like an S class.
They're the one company that they just make so much money because they come out with GTA Online and they're like, hey, remember that car that you've been playing with for the past like 15 years? That game's been out for fucking 15 years probably by now.
Yeah, 12.
We got it in light green. Give us $1 million.
Oh man.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you, Henry. There are games that do well and they want to charge more money. Helldivers, they did go back because there was a lot of backlash. I love that you mentioned Helldivers specifically. It was a game that you had to pay for. It wasn't free to play. It wasn't. It was a multiplayer game. You go out there and you did your stuff. Henry, you and me, we were out there during the OG Helldivers. It was a horrible time. I still remember that time we drove off the cliff. None of us knew what we were doing. But Helldivers 2, it had a huge fan base. People never heard of the franchise. And then they released something where it's just like they have these two tiers. If I remember
Mhm.
correctly, tell me if I'm wrong, Henry. Where it's just like you play the game, just play the game, and you're able to unlock cool stuff from this tier. And if you want to pay, you can pay, and you get stuff from that tier and this tier. But people who don't want to put extra money into the game, you're still getting stuff, and you're getting good stuff. It's not like you're getting shitty stuff. But then they came out with this one thing where it was like, hey, this is some really cool shit. The only way you could get it is if you pay money.
Mm.
No matter how many hours you put the game, you could be at the highest level cap, this, that, and the other. You have to pay money. Unless I'm mistaken, they went in there. A lot of people were like, this is bullshit. This is not what you do. You were giving us stuff, and they kind of went back and they're like, hey, you're right. We're going to kind of give it to the people. I think that's what they did, or they were planning on doing it.
So
I'm not
here's
held out
here's
stuff.
here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? They're I feel like at this day and age of gaming, and you guys are like the more avid gamers
Yeah.
and you're more in tune with the community. So let me know if I'm off the mark here.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a balance that hasn't been like done yet. Like there's this balance of you got to invest all this money to make a great game. Like games like Mass Effect where you can play the game 5 times and come up with different routes,
Yeah.
right? It's not easy to do that. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money to develop it. And then you have like this almost like a market cap where it's understood if the game is going to be AAA $60. Is that enough to make a profit?
They're 70 now. Like the standard is
I
currently
understand.
70.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. There was the market cap before where it was like
Yeah.
59.99.
Yeah.
Was that enough to make a profit? And like, okay, well, for us to make a profit, we have to sell this many games. Well, okay, but not everybody likes to play single player story games.
Mhm.
So it's like, there's has to be a balance. And I'm just being like a devil's advocate here.
Mhm.
What's the other way of you either do in-game purchases to try to recoup some of that money,
Mhm.
or you make the game more expensive off the get-go and then maybe less people buy it even more.
Mhm.
So it's like, what is the balance? Like you got to pay these game developers fair wages, obviously. The technology, I don't know if the technology is making games being able to be developed faster, or is it making it more like I don't
Like
know.
higher quality and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the higher quality stuff, does it like is it making it go faster, or is
Mhm,
it like making it go slower because you have to add in more detail?
mhm.
Like I don't know enough about the process of making it. Like I'm playing um Jedi Survivor, and the
Yeah.
map in Koba is fucking huge. To
Okay.
me at least, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
huge. Compared to like the first game where the maps were a lot smaller. Like this it's
So you
huge,
see
and
the
I'm
scale of the game already changing just within that map alone.
yeah, so I'm going through it and I'm like, holy shit, there's like this thing and that thing, and I'm like trying to think of like, all right, they you have to, so they have their story. Now they have to apply the story to be able for you to play. And now they're like, okay, you can't get to this part until you learn this skill. Where do we want them to learn this skill? This skill needs to be learned in this part of the story. When is this part of the story going? Like, I'm trying to
Especially in
like,
Metroidvania. You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
like I'm trying to like think through how like they would develop this game, and I got a headache, like,
Yeah.
and that's why they have teams and so many people, but all those people need money. Like they have salaries that they got to get paid because they're putting in so many hours, and I'm sure a lot of them work in overtime and they're not getting paid for it,
Yeah.
because it's salary. So it's just like, where's the balance? Like, as a consumer, yeah, I want my game at a reasonable price. At the same time, I want the best game every single time.
Yeah.
Obvious. So there's like this thing where it's like,
Yeah.
it could be done fast, cheap, or what was the third thing? Done fast, cheap, or right.
Hmm.
If you want it done fast and right, it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
If you want it done cheap and right,
It's not going to be fast.
it's not going to be fast,
Yeah.
right? So there's always, you can only pick two things. So like
Yeah.
there's always going to be like something missing.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do we draw the balance?
Yeah.
Like so like it's either you focus on a story and you take away from the graphics
Hmm.
so it doesn't take you as long, and
Hmm.
then which is kind of what Zelda Breath of the Wild did, right? They have like this very simplified graphics system, but
Yeah.
the story was interesting for the most part.
Yeah.
And
However,
then
Nintendo's always the anomaly. Remember
yeah,
that.
but then like you can have other games that you can do
Yeah.
that, right? Like you can try to but then like this whole age that we're in is all about the graphics.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's like,
let me tell you something.
yeah,
Before we started doing this podcast, I had brought up a game, Celeste. I told you about.
yes.
Eslam, to be fair, have you ever seen Celeste?
No, I have not. Let me
Do you
look it up
mind
while you talk.
searching it? And if you can, do you want to pull up a clip of just Celeste gameplay here for people to see? Celeste is one of the greatest games of all time.
Hmm.
This video game came out in 2018. I'm going to pull up a list of video games that came out in 2018.
Yeah, 1 second.
You're good. So do what you got to do. Now, I've advocated for Celeste a bunch of times. I already got a list of some big games that came out that year.
All right, so I have a gameplay trailer,
Hmm.
but this one's from PlayStation. They might flag us.
You're fine. Just take your time. So while you're doing that, one thing I want to mention real quick is some stuff that Henry mentioned. Henry, thank you, man. You're on point today. I like this. So a couple things I want to talk about real quick is when he was saying for Helldivers, he said that you also need a PSN account. If you want to play online, you got to
Mhm,
You got to pay PlayStation. You can't just get online. You got to pay for PlayStation Plus. In some
mhm.
countries, you couldn't get it. I believe he means like the feature I was talking about for Helldivers, that you weren't able to get that. And then he mentions that people had to sleep under the desk. That's
Yeah.
crunch. That is something that they've been trying to do away with. And some
Mhm.
studios, like, that was a thing where back in the day, you hear developers talk about how that was a badge of honor. Yeah, I haven't left the office in like 2 weeks because we're making this game. That's not a good thing. That's not a healthy lifestyle. You want to go out. You want to have a family. You want to go back to your family. You don't want to. I mean, I understand you care about your job. You appreciate your job. That's not a healthy work life balance.
Yeah.
All right, so audio listeners, we're pulling up a track for Celeste. If you guys want to check it out, great game. You can play it on all consoles. Here's a video of it. This game came out.
Sorry, Dan, you started cutting off your audio.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Eslam, this game came out in 2018.
Yeah, well, it's a Metroidvania, so I kind
It's
of
not.
expect it's not. Okay, never mind.
It's a side scroller. That's it.
Okay.
Just a side scroller.
Yeah.
There's different elements. You're boosting. You're going
What is it,
fast.
like an 8-bit side scroller?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is in 2018. You know what else came out in 2018, Eslam?
What is it, God of War Ragnarok?
God of War. Red Dead Redemption 2, right there. Those are two of the greatest looking games ever made,
Yeah.
even to this day. This was in the running for a game of the year against them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know in Game Awards, God of War won.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest God of War fan. That's neither here nor there. In my opinion, this was the greatest game that came out in 2018. I have gone back and played this game numerous times. I've gone back and gotten the platinum in this game. This is a challenging game.
Yeah.
It is great storytelling, even for the graphics. The music, this is some of the greatest music I've ever heard in a video game.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. So you're right. There has to be a balance, but then you see have a small, very small team make a game like this, and you realize, do we need a fucking CEO? If we know what we're doing, and the problem is, unfortunately, you do, because you need to have people help publish. New God of War might be set in Egypt. Okay, Eslam's gonna be the new Kratos.
Yeah,
You got the beard, you got the head, you got it.
Exactly, bro. I just need to get in shape.
You're gonna have your nieces go out with you, just girls.
Yeah. Just say it in Arabic.
Yeah.
Bennett.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, no. So that's one thing I wanted to mention in terms of like, you're right. They have to find a balance. When you have a company, I'm gonna get back to BioWare. I keep saying it, but I'm gonna move over to the Sony real quick. When you have a company like, let's say, Sony, where they make some of the best single player games, the Spider-Man stuff, the God of War stuff, Last of Us, Uncharted, list goes on. There's other things I haven't mentioned, Ghost of Tsushima. There's a million things. They were trying to start doing like, hey, we do really good games. People like our games. We want more money. We're a corporation. That's what we do. We make more money. We want to get the multiplayer multiplayer ecosystem. They came out with Helldivers, like we talked about earlier. They also came out with Concord. And Concord, for anybody who needs a refresher, was a hero shooter. Think of something like Henry, I need you. Like think of something not Fortnite. Think of something like Overwatch. Basically that. It's Sony's own version of that, and they kind of put something that kind of looked like a Guardians of the Galaxy spin on it. Valorant, and that's thank you, Valorant. And so they came out with that. Just so everybody could be aware, Concord was released on August 23rd, 2004. August 23rd, 2004. They came out, and because the game was not free to play, because that type of game has become a free to play market, they could not succeed. They had a whole roadmap that they were going to try to do stuff. It didn't work. And that game was shut down. They closed the servers. It was open from August 23rd, 2004 to September 6th, 2004.
Yeah, 2024, yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Thank you. 2024. They went back in time. But no, yeah. So from August 23rd to September 6th.
Okay.
They had people working on this game, dedicating years of their lives to this game. I had a lot of discussions with Rudy about this time. This is not the type of game I play. I don't give a shit about this type of game. And I remember telling Rudy, I hope this game succeeds, simply because there's people who worked on this game. I hate the fact that there's a free-to-play market. That's me. A lot of people disagree with me, and I get that. There's a reason why. We're going to make a show as well. It's on that show. What's the game? The video game Love, Death, and Robots show, Eslam? There's an episode that's supposedly dedicated to Concord. That it's already out on Amazon Prime.
Levels. Levels.
Secret Level. Thank you.
Secret Level.
We got there, guys. Thanks. He already knew it. We didn't even have to tell him. Yeah. He got it. But yeah, Secret Level. I think there's a Concord episode in there. Check out the.
Was that the one with like the AI robots? Is that Concord or was that something?
I didn't see them all. I didn't like that show.
Okay.
I saw a few episodes. I was like, I'm done with this.
I liked it. It was nice.
Hey, you know me. I'm the one person who didn't.
Again, I really enjoyed the Pac-Man one.
That's why I said I shouted out. You liked it. Hey, people. Eslam liked it. I think Disco liked it too. So check it out, everybody. But they came out with Concord. They shut it down, and there you go. That's Sony. Just today they announced that they have like these two CEOs. I was trying to read it. Eslam, it doesn't make no damn sense. I don't know what the fuck they did. They got a CEO of SIE, which is Sony Interactive, which is their gaming department, but they also have a CEO of the gaming department. That's called the gaming department. What the fuck does that mean? Maybe I misread it. Guys, go out there and read
It's
it.
Are you sure it's not Sony Entertainment and then Sony
It's
Interactive?
Sony. It's Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So Sony Interactive Entertainment LLC is an American video game and digital entertainment company that is
Okay.
a major subsidiary of Sony Group Corporation. So one of these gentlemen is the CEO of that, and then they have the gaming department, which I just read in that little blurb that is the gaming industry sector. But now they have that.
Mm.
Henry says now he has to pay $5 more for a new controller. Thanks, Concord. I don't blame Concord, Henry. I blame Sony for it. They could have done one or two things. They could have said, "Fine, fuck it. We're going to take more time. We're going to delay our game, and we're going to make it. We're going to figure out. We're going to make it free to play." They could have done that.
I think that the exclusives is what's doing this
It could be.
to the gaming industry.
It could be, but at the same time, we don't know. Spider-Man, 2018 Spider-Man. I think it's 2018. So that's another game that came out the same year as Celeste. Or was it 2016? Whatever year that Spider-Man came out. That was like one of the best-selling games there was, and it was only available on PlayStation
Sure.
because it's
Because it's Spider-Man. That's
exactly,
Spider-Man is Spider-Man, right? That's
exactly,
that's just something different.
yeah,
But for games like well, I think Helldivers was not an exclusive, or was
yeah.
it
It is
exclusive?
PlayStation. It's probably gonna go to Xbox at some point. As of right
Yeah, but
now,
like
it's
from
still
the
on PlayStation.
get-go, if it was like
It's
out on
PlayStation only.
Xbox as
Yeah,
uh, it was out on Xbox as well. Like now you're doubling your market to be able to sell to anybody who has either console. You know what I mean?
potentially yes.
So it's just like, is exclusives ruining gaming?
Yes and no. I've told you why I
Or
like exclusives.
no, I
Yeah,
understand why you
yeah,
like exclusives.
yeah.
But it's devil's
No,
advocate.
I get what you're
Like,
saying.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that very well could be the case. Are
Yeah.
exclusives doing it because now it's just like you could make more money if you put this out to other places.
Yeah.
But to counter that, Eslam, that's what they're doing now. It's not like go back 10 years, exclusives don't work the same way they do now.
Mm,
They're timed exclusives.
mhm,
You have
mhm.
Starfield, which was like Xbox's big thing a year or two ago. It's just this past week. Phil Spencer said it's going to go to PlayStation. I can't guarantee when, but when the team is ready, we want to make sure that game's available for other places. You want to play God of War, but you don't have a PlayStation? Guess what? It's on PC. Everybody has a PC.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's what I'm saying. Do you want to play Xbox? They put Game Pass and everything. They have that new slogan. Everything is an Xbox. So they're
Mm,
making it into we now live in a world where things are exclusive, yes. But if you want to wait a year, you're probably going to be able to play that same game. Like, think of it this way. Like, I played Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. I love those games. They came out first on PlayStation, and I got to play them. Since then, they've come with like enhanced PS5 versions, the extra like Yuffie story in the first game, this, that, and the other. When those games do go to Xbox, they're going to pay the same price I paid for an older version without the extra features, looking at a lower quality. They're going to pay the same amount, maybe potentially less, and they're going to get all those things added in. And
mm.
then that's where that game gets a second boom and a second life on the market. So that's one counteractive way that they've been coming up
So
with
it's like
exclusives.
the theater release, and then you got the DVD sales.
Exactly. So it's exclusive for now, and it's eventually going to come out in something else.
Hmm.
So, and Xbox, the way they do it, they look at it they're like, do we want this to be exclusive now? Like Call of Duty came out. Call of Duty, if you don't play video games, you've heard of Call of Duty. Somebody's
Yeah.
mentioned it to you at some point in your life.
Hmm.
Call of Duty Activision was bought by Xbox a few years ago. Remember that was a big story we talked about it here on this podcast. The Call of Duty that came out this past year was available everywhere because Xbox knows we're not going to just keep it on Xbox. There's more
Yeah.
PlayStations than any other console out there. There's more
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's on Switch, but if they wanted to, there's a bunch of Switches out there. Everybody has a gaming PC. Steam Decks exists. ROG Allies or ROG Allies exist now. There's like handheld PCs. There's like so many ways you can play this. Why would we keep it on our console?
Yeah.
Sony, on the other hand, they're the premium console where it's like we come out with these great games. You want to play the new God of War Ragnarok? You got to come to us. You probably already have a PlayStation. Everybody does. So why don't you just go ahead and buy it? If you don't have a PlayStation, don't worry, we got you. In about a year, we're going to give you the high res edition, better frame rate, better quality, and you're not going to have to pay anything extra. You could go play it wherever you want. Maybe not Xbox, but any PC.
Yeah.
They'll put it on PC. So like
I
that's
mean,
how they've come against the thing. But that's a great argument because 10 years
yeah.
ago that was a thing. So that's where we're at with that now.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
mhm.
Definitely makes sense.
But one thing I did want to mention real quick is I wanted to talk about stuff not gaming.
Yeah.
It's just we're going all over the place. We're having a good conversation. I want to finish off with BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's where I started. That's where I'm going to end. BioWare. I want to talk about some of the games they came out with. So I'm going to go back to Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 came out in 2010.
Okay.
Highly successful game.
Damn, I
After
was
Mass, hmm?
2010.
Yeah,
I was in county college.
crazy, right?
Not even thinking ever about playing a video game.
Dude, I was in there. Mass Effect 2, I was in there. I was like, bro, I'm living.
Yeah. That's
This is the
wild
peak
though.
of video games. It's never gonna get better than this.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I hadn't gotten even to NYT yet.
yeah.
I went to NYT in 2011.
No,
So
dude,
like
I get
at
it.
that time I was just like, video games, what are those?
You know what? I'm gonna do a fun little exercise for you. I'm gonna tell you when Mass Effect 1 came out.
Oh fuck.
You ready for this, Eslam?
Yeah, yeah.
November 20th, 2007.
A year before we graduated high school? Cuz we 2007.
2007. That's
Oh,
wild. No, you're right. No, I'm not correcting you. I'm just
oh
saying, like,
fuck.
yeah, no, you're good.
I was
My
like
man's
fuck.
like, am I still in high school? Do I have a test? What
Yo,
are the exams? I didn't
you
study.
fucked me apart because like I said that and you like froze. Like, did he really just say that?
No,
Like,
I'm
did he
sorry. I
not
realized
know
that. No,
we
no, no. You're good. You're good.
graduated this day? Like, I was like, bro. I
I
was like,
saw it. I saw the fear in your eyes.
yo, I was like, I need to go get my brain checked if I can't even remember I graduated in 2008.
Oh man,
Oh fuck.
I didn't mean to scare you, my man. You need to pray.
Oh my lord.
So with me, So Henry put a cool thing in the chat there where I just clicked off of it. He didn't know about Mass Effect until the third one came out. I'm gonna talk about what it because I was there. I was in the thick of it during Mass Effect 3. I got into Mass Effect through the original Dragon Age. That's how I got into it.
Nice.
So Dragon Age 1 came out, Dragon Age Origins 2009.
Hmm.
The following year was Mass Effect 2. And I was like, I love this Dragon Age game. Who is this? Is when I really started to understand studios. I was
Yeah.
like, there's some group called BioWare that makes this. They're coming out with this game called Mass Effect 2. I could go find Mass Effect 1 right now. So I remember Mass Effect 2 came out. I bought it and I bought Mass Effect 1, like a used
Okay.
copy. So I
Yeah.
bought both in the same day. I played Mass Effect 1 nonstop. That's how I got the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah.
I went out and bought an Xbox that day.
Yeah.
Came back and continued to play Mass Effect. Because I was like, I don't give a fuck. This isn't stopping me. Oh man. Oh, the Xbox hack. You're gonna have to tell me about that, Henry. But what's it called? So I did that. Mass Effect 2, I was there. Mass Effect 3, this is where I wanted to get to. So Dragon Age Origins came out. Then we have Mass Effect 2. Dragon Age 2 came out, had a lot of backlash because the CEO said, we need to come out with another game real quick. We need to come out with a game. So they came out with, let's go here. So they had Mass Effect 1 in 2007, Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood in 2008, Dragon Age Origins in 2009, Mass Effect 2 in 2010. Every year they've come out with a big game. That's impossible to do now. And they were putting out quality games. So when Dragon Age 2 came out, they were not ready. They were originally going to say this is going to be a DLC for Dragon Age 1. I only found out about this from a book I was reading.
Hmm.
This was going to be a DLC, and they said, no, fuck that. Make it a new game. They're like, it's not big enough to be a new game. Fuck it. We don't care. Make it a new game. That game came out, and people were upset. I actually enjoyed it for what it was, but it's like when you go into like certain caves and stuff like that, it was literally they just recycled the same thing. You knew there was going to be a crevice over here, an opening over here, in the same cave over and over and over again. So it's like a lot of people didn't like that. They got backlash. Then we go from Dragon Age 2. Next big game they have, Star Wars The Old Republic, 2011. Then we get Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3, I enjoy that game. That was great. that game had a lot of backlash because of the ending. People were like, we've been playing this game since 2007. We made all these decisions, all these options. And they said, all right, you did all this over the years. Now you got to decide, do you want blue, red? And if you're really good, we gave you green. They just said, here's some colors. And a lot of people were upset about that. I didn't mind the ending. Eslam, you never got to see the original ending of Mass Effect 3. By the time you got your hands on it, you saw like the extra like footage they added on to give people a little bit more story. It wasn't as fleshed out as it was when you played it. So a lot of people were upset. I didn't mind it as much, but it was what it was. What are you saying here, Henry? Oh, he's talking about the jailbreak.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the screen, so people.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. So we got that, and then we got Mass Effect 3. They had a couple like smaller games here and there. They came out with Dragon Age Inquisition. Personally, I never finished the game. I've tried countless times. I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it is. It's the way it just wasn't for me. I know a lot of people enjoyed the game. I believe it won Game of the Year, but that's the game that people make fun of because it won Game of the Year. They're like, really? Nothing else came out? It's not that it's a bad game, but that's a thing I've heard commonly. It's like, man, there was nothing else in 2014, huh? Dragon Age Inquisition won. Next big game they come out with, they're like, we're bringing it back. Don't worry, guys. We're coming out with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. Which now listen, I played it God knows how many years later.
This is why I paused, yeah.
I played it God knows how many years later. It still had its little weird kinks or whatever. Story wise, I enjoyed it.
It was okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I was like, it's like you're going to a whole other galaxy just to like fucking what's the word? Colonize it and like start anew. And then like, you know,
yeah.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
So I was there when it came out. I bought it at launch. I
remember this. You bought even the car.
I got the car.
Yeah.
There was a sign up thing where you could be a tester for the game, and you have to write why you'd be a good thing. I wrote an essay to BioWare stating how I wanted to be a tester for this game because of how much I care about the Mass Effect franchise and the Dragon Age franchise. Yeah. That's how much I like this.
Yeah.
And they didn't pick me, and the game was bad.
Coincidence. You fucked up, BioWare.
But with that being said, I enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda. It's just you went from the good quality of Mass Effect 3. Visually, Mass Effect 3 looks better than Mass Effect Andromeda, and that shouldn't. They used a different engine that they used for like shooters and stuff. And they didn't. Yeah, you're right. They didn't want fanboys. That's a whole WWE thing. But no. So that game came out and it had a lot of backlash. Then they're like, don't worry about it, guys. We're done with Mass Effect. We understand you don't like Mass Effect. And we said, no, we don't. Shut up. We're going to give you Anthem. And then everyone's like, what the fuck is Anthem? And Anthem, wow. I know some people liked it. Henry, I know you played it. And I'm sorry, but the Anthem wasn't a great game. I tried it. It's fun. They made it feel they're just shouting Anthem. I tried playing it with Henry like once or twice. Anthem was like, if you ever wanted to feel like Iron Man, that is Anthem, and they nailed it. You feel you have the different suits. Here's the fast one. Here's like the all around. Here's like the big beefy one. Here's the one that does like magic spells. You customize it, this, that, and the other. And what is BioWare good at? They tell great stories in Dragon Age. They tell great stories in Star Wars: The Old Republic. They tell great stories in Mass Effect. And then in Anthem, they said, "We know what you want, and it's not stories." What the fuck, dude? Like.
See, this is some CEO who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing type shit.
And since then, the last thing that BioWare has come out with that people can say definitively without any issues, the best thing they've come out with recently was in 2021. They had the Mass Effect Legendary Edition where they re-released Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
They had to say, we're going to give you the shit that you like because we don't know what you like. Granted, we've been telling you what we like for years.
Yeah.
But EA is getting in the way of BioWare.
But BioWare can't nobody ever fucking listens to the fans. They're like, they don't know what they're talking about. We're gonna. It's just like.
See, Henry just put something in there I didn't even know. They gave us false hope about Anthem 2.0. Oh. I didn't even know that was a thing. And then they just canceled it. I bet they didn't even say shit about it, too. They probably just swept it under the rug. It was like, hey, there's this one guy in Jersey that's playing it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one. All that is just the gaming section. I know this went a lot longer than I wanted to with the gaming, but
Yeah, that's
we were
fine.
going around. But there's other shit too out there. Do you want to talk about the other stuff, Eslam?
The other stuff we had was like, talking about CEOs and fucking up was kind of like what happened with the DCEU, like the DC Entertainment Universe, which now has become the DC Universe.
It was actually
Uh,
extended.
oh, extended universe.
It doesn't
Oh,
make any fucking sense.
okay. Um, and now the new DC universe, like they scrapped everything that was from before, all new actors for the most part. Some people got carried over that did really
If
well.
you worked with James Gunn, you got to come over.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, and James Gunn and Peter Safran are the co-heads of DCU. James Gunn is more on the forefront of like the face of the company. He's doing a lot of writing and directing.
The
Obviously, he's
creative
a
stuff.
yeah. Um, so he did the first project that came out for the DCU was Creature Commandos on HBO Max. My wife and I watched it, loved every episode. It was a lot of fun. Um, they gave you a little bit, the way it was written was good, right? Like each, like you had this overall arc and story, plus you got character development from each character. You got a little bit of their backstory, which is kind of what he um did with when he did
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. And he did that again here, but because it was animation, they can take a little bit more liberties, do a lot more things, and it was very good. And the thing he's gonna do is that if anybody from Creature Commandos is gonna, like, those characters can be used in live action movies, and those same actors will reprise their roles. Like the voice actors will
Mhm.
reprise their roles.
Which worked with Weasel already. It already
Yeah,
went the other way.
yeah. So I'm very excited about this. I think it's gonna be good. We saw the trailer for Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Um, they're obviously Superman's supposed to be like this ray of sunshine light character, and that's what they're going back to. A lot of people gave flack to Zack Snyder for doing a little bit of a darker story. I liked it. I liked the darker Superman. He
Love Man
was
of Steel.
Man of Steel, still one of my favorite movies.
Mhm.
um it's fine to play a little bit with the character's origin story, put a little bit of spin on it. Like what people don't understand is that like Superman, there's different versions of him, right? You got
There's so many
Ultraman,
ways to tell a
you got
Superman story.
Superman Red Sun, you got um
All Star,
you got All-Star Superman, you got I said
Death of
Superman Red
Superman, Return of
Sun.
Superman.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of one with darker. You have like the Justice Lords,
Oh,
right? You that came from the Justice League animated series, which was a very cool take on the Justice League. What would happen if like the Flash died and how they would change because of like their friend dying. It was just like it was an interesting take, and I liked the take of Man of Steel.
hmm
You don't have to like it; it's fine. I get
yeah,
it. So
Injustice. Yeah,
yeah, Injustice. So for this, we're kind of going back to the lighthearted Superman, the Boy Scout, which I think is 100% fine. Um, and from the trailer I saw, it looks interesting. It doesn't look stupid. Um, it looks interesting, and he has a lot of different characters in there, like Green Lantern, and we're supposed to be getting a Green Lantern show. We're supposed to be getting maybe a season two of the Penguin. I know we're getting a season two of um, Peacemaker. We're also getting the Batman too. So like, there's a lot of stuff happening with DC. I think DC is moving in the right direction because they got creatives in charge of the projects. Where now Zack Snyder is arguably, people either hate him or love him depending on the movie. He doesn't always make the greatest movies.
no, he doesn't.
They're a hit or miss. 300 was great. Um, uh, Watchmen was great because it was page per page. The comic book, he didn't change anything
Batman
except
v
the last
Superman,
part.
the Ultimate Edition. Don't
Um,
forget it.
yeah, so things like that were good, but like, he had other projects that weren't good. Whatever. And there were clashes, I guess, between that and like the direction of where things were going, and then the executives changed up a lot of shit in the way the movies were coming, and like, oh my god, oh, don't even get me started. Rebel
That's
Moon.
what I said when it was just like, yeah, he makes good movies. I was like, yeah.
No, I said
I know what
it's
you said. I understand what you're
50-50.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
I know.
didn't say he makes good movies. I just
Rebel
said it's
Moon dropped that 50. Oh, that's all I'm saying. But
okay, fine, 2080. All right, 2080. I think that's a better
I feel like it's more accurate. Yeah.
yeah, 2080. But yeah, so like I said, I think what I'm trying to say is like put if you put the project in the hand of the right creative, right? Not every creative is going to be able to man multiple projects and see things through. Some people are just creative in like a bubble, and some people can like think in the bigger picture and plan things out ahead, kind of like how Marvel did their stuff. You know what I mean? They
Mm,
planned for years ahead, and it was very successful for 10 years straight. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that was because it was in the hand of one creative or a
People
small
who had
group
a
of
collective understanding
vision.
of what's happening. Thank you,
Yeah.
vision. Thank you.
And I
They had a
think that's
collective
what's
vision.
happening now with the DCU. And I think that's what needs to happen with games. Like these companies need to make like different parts so they can have like a vision of like, all right, this is the vision we want for this game. Who can pull off this vision, and then just let them do it. Like don't get in their way. But like when it comes to money, people get like antsy and like have to
Oh yeah.
give their opinions when they're not needed or wanted or not going to help. But you know, that's my ramble
No,
for
I mean,
DCU.
I'm with you with the DC. I could bring it right back to gaming for a quick second because
Yeah.
they're president of like their gaming division of like Warner Brothers Games or whatever just recently stepped down, and he put out some thing where he's like, thank you for all the good times, this, that, and the other, and it's funny because like everybody's just like, bro, you took the Arkham series, which was
Yeah.
at the time the first great superhero video game series,
Mm, mm.
Asylum, City, and Night, the
Yeah.
Arkham series, and Origins. I'm still gonna put love on Origins, even though people act like it's not good.
No, Origins was good. What are they?
It's not like, trust me.
I
I
know,
know.
I get it. I've played all of them,
Oh,
but
I know. Hey,
again, one of the franchise of games I played during COVID.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So they did that, and then they came out with the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, and
Oh,
they came out with Gotham Knights.
yeah. I was excited for that one until it hit the fan.
I
It
wasn't.
shit the bed.
Literally, the moment that I read, it was like they're coming. Like there was a rumor they're coming out. Gotham Knights. This is what it's about. I'm like, oh fuck. Like literally, I was like, this ain't gonna work. The stuff that they came out with that was working the past couple years was Mortal Kombat.
Mm,
That's Warner Brothers. And then they came out with the last one, which we talked about it on here on the podcast a lot with Khalil.
yeah.
And I liked it, but the fans didn't. The fans have issues with that Mortal Kombat too. I still think it's a fun game.
You know what?
You
At
know,
this point, yeah, fuck the fans. Like I just don't know what to tell you. Like you can't make everybody happy and they're
oh, I
being
know,
little bitches. So
I
like,
know.
fuck the fans, bro.
Hey,
Fuck
it
you
is what it
guys.
is. It is what
I'm
it is.
coming for you.
You're not gonna remember this in 5 minutes, sir.
No, fuck no, bro.
You're gonna walk outside the door and say, "What am I doing? Who am I coming for?"
By
It's
10
cold.
o'clock, I'm gonna
It's
forget what I
cold
just
out.
said.
But no, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Everybody has their opinions, and that's the thing about opinions.
Yeah.
They're like assholes. Everybody has them.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so I know we're running long. One last thing I wanted to mention real quick. I put in here when we were talking about companies making bad decisions. I can't go and not talk about wrestling. So WWE and AEW. One thing I'm going to say real quick. Let's say AEW. Um, AEW is kind of like falling off compared to where it was. There was a time
Mm,
where AEW was like in its golden age, and that was when it started. And it's kind of like slowed down, which is crazy because you look at the roster they have right now, and I don't see a better roster anywhere else on the planet. And it's
yeah.
just like there's a lot. Like Kenny Omega just came back, and he's just killing. I talked about it last episode, and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. But like storyline wise, it's just like weird, man. They're doing this thing where it's just like Moxley's in charge of this group, and they're like, we want to destroy AEW from within because we lost our way, and they're trying to bring like reality into it. But then they're just like, they just did a storyline where the Elite did the same thing. They're like, we're the Elite, and we're gonna take back AEW because we're the not CEOs, we're the whatever the hell they were, and we're running shit. And then that storyline kind of just ended. Like everybody was like, okay, I guess. And then John Moxley's group was like, we're gonna do the same thing. We're like, all right, cool. Like you kind of built a storyline sort of where Orange Cassidy might be the one to save AEW, and my God, that's not. Imagine that. The person who saves AEW is Orange Cassidy. How fucking amazing would that have been?
That would be fantastic.
And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. But
now, do you think this is because Cody left? This could be a reason, or it has nothing to do with
in
it?
my personal opinion, absolutely not.
Okay.
Cody had played a big role in AEW, yes.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, I'm not there. I don't know. This is just from what I've read and what I've heard. Cody was doing the Cody stuff in AEW. Mm-hmm. Tony Khan was running AEW.
Okay.
So it's like Cody did some of his stuff, and not for nothing, to be perfectly honest, when AEW was good and everything was going this there and that, a lot of people were kind of like, man, we really like all this stuff except the Cody stuff. And they even called it like the Codyverse. It was like you have all this AEW stuff, and then Cody's got like this weird thing that's going on in there. It's like it doesn't fit with anything else. I thought it was entertaining. That man set himself on fire, literally, for people.
Damn.
Cody's.
And they're still hating, bro. Fuck those people.
So he leaves to go to WWE. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is stupid. This is the company." Blah blah blah. And look at him now. The man's literally the face of the company.
Yeah.
So more power to him. He bet on himself, like we talked about in the podcast, and it fucking paid off. Congratulations, Cody Rhodes. You earned it. But
shout outs.
So the thing is, supposedly a lot of people are like in Tony Khan's ear. People have their own creative control. So when you give a wrestler creative control of their own storylines, what are they gonna do? They're gonna book themselves to win. There's a reason why WCW doesn't exist anymore, because they used to go to Ted Turner's pocket, grab a couple $1 million and give it to Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and just say, here you go. You have creative control. And Hulk Hogan goes out. He's like, I don't feel like losing the title tonight. And legally you can't say you can't do that.
Mm.
And WCW no longer exists. AEW kind of sort of fell into that, supposedly. Once again, I don't know what's true and what's not.
Mm.
But one thing I read this past week is that people really liked the last couple episodes of AEW Dynamite and Collision and stuff like that. And supposedly people are saying Tony Khan is writing shit again. Like he doesn't have people in his ear. Supposedly he's the one doing it again.
Okay.
If that's the case, okay, let's do it. Let's fix it. But I don't know if it's the opposite of what we're talking about. The creative's fucking up what's happening.
Mm.
It could have been. But I can't complain about one company and not talk about WWE. Vince McMahon's interesting, right? I'm not even going to get into that. I want to talk about Dwayne.
Why?
Dwayne.
Why?
I don't like that man. I haven't liked that man for years. I respect him. He's a great promo. He tried to ruin WrestleMania last year when everyone's like, we really like Cody. We want Cody to become champion. And then they build up Cody. They're like, Cody wins the Rumble. Cody's going to fight Roman Reigns. Cody's going to do this. And then The Rock showed up. Coincidentally, right after the time he became a executive in the company, and he bought the rights to the name The Rock, and he's on the board of directors for WWE. He suddenly shows up. He's like, you guys like Cody? They're like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm fighting Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. You guys like that, right? And we're like, what the fuck? No, we don't. We want Cody. And then they made a storyline out of it because The Rock almost fucked up WrestleMania. So his solution was, we're still going to do WrestleMania, but I have to be in it because I'm The Rock. So he put himself into it. He's like, okay, it worked because we still got Cody versus Roman. Cody finished the story. We're all good. Fast forward. The night after Mania, they build a thing where we might get Cody versus Rock in the future. Okay, that could be interesting. We'll see where it goes. The Rock goes. He's doing his Hollywood thing. The man has a lot of jobs. I understand that. Raw just went to Netflix, right? On the episode of Raw where they went to Netflix, it starts off with a video package saying that Raw is on Netflix, which then cut to Triple H talking about how Raw is on Netflix. After that, The Rock came out and spoke about for 45 minutes about how the Raw show is now on Netflix. So for the first hour 20 minutes, they just talked about how Raw is on Netflix. while The Rock is in there, you have The Rock, who was like a villain in the most recent story he was involved in. He beat Cody with a belt in front of his mom. He had a belt that said Mama Rhodes on it. It was great. When The Rock's a heel, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So all this other stuff, and here he is on the thing of Netflix. So what does he do? Hey Cody, how you doing? Love you. Tell Mama Rose I said hi. And Cody's in the crowd. Oh, Dwayne. And everyone's like, "What the fuck is that? What happened to the storyline?" And then Rock shows up on NXT the following night because his daughter is one of the people in charge of NXT, quote unquote, not really. And he has a thing where he has to speak and he's talking, and then he runs out of time because he keeps on fucking talking about I don't even know what. He literally didn't say anything. And 2 days in a row, The Rock spoke for about an hour and a half and didn't say a fucking thing. And literally the way NXT ended, and I love this because he's like, listen, they're telling me to cut off. He's telling the audience, they're telling me to cut off. This is on network TV, it's not Netflix. I have to abide by the rules. Even The Rock has to abide by the rules, but that's okay because I love you guys. Because if you smell what the, and then it cut off.
That's hilarious. Like,
And
it doesn't matter. It's like commercial.
And I'm like, I was always iffy about The Rock. Yes, he's entertaining as all hell. I'm always going to respect him. And I joke around. And when it comes to the actual wrestling, I might not be his biggest fan, but it is what it is. But the thing is, literally, the moment he's given executive power,
Yeah.
the moment he almost ruins WrestleMania, and now he's ruined a potential future storyline. I don't know how they're going to get back into it.
God only knows, man. These people, when they get the power, they're like, I want to be in the front. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Everybody watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's really good.
Yes.
I'm
You
wearing a
still got to
polo
send
coat.
us a
I'm
match
wearing
to
a polo
watch
coat.
on
Oh,
New
you
Japan.
think I haven't been looking it up?
Yeah, I know you have.
You think I haven't been looking it up? I might bust out the Stone Pitbull. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at him.
Oh, so, okay. It took me a second to realize what you said. The Stone Pitbull.
I told you about so. You always liked him.
No, yes, I did. I heard the Stone Pimple, and I'm like,
Yep.
what the fuck is that?
Sit it out, baby.
I
Stone
was,
Pitbull's coming. New Japan.
I was
Let's
like,
do it.
is that new? And then it took a
Yep.
minute. My brain registered, and it was
Oh
like,
man.
nah, he said Stone Pitbull, stupid. And I was like, all
Yep.
right, got it.
You know what the Stone Pimple's finisher is? I'm gonna make this my final thought so we can hurry up. You know what his finisher is? That's all.
What
I
is
didn't
it?
even say shit. You're cracking up. Get it. Let it out. Let it out. I'm gonna wait for you.
No, tell me, what is
It's
it?
the Krakatoa because that shit explodes like a volcano. Get it? It pops. Tell me that doesn't sound like a great name. Oh my god,
Oh,
he's got him in the Krakatoa.
oh Lord.
It could be literally a headlock, but he's about to bust the head open. Get it?
Yeah, that
It's
shit
about to
gets
pop.
all like he puts some white on it. Just pulls a jar of mayo out, just
Just
rubs it on
spitting
their
on his
head.
head. Just that's you see
Just
you
trying
turn
to.
on Japanese wrestling. And you see a man in a headlock just get his head spit on, rubbing mayonnaise on it. Like it's the Krakatoa from the Stone Pimple. Those are my final thoughts.
Yeah, no, Japan would do that. My final thoughts. Um, I've been playing Survivor a lot, and I had to think about what I wanted
I
to
know. I'm
say.
sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. It got me.
Um, and man, it's so much fucking fun, bro. I'm enjoying the hell out of that game.
I'm having fun.
Um I can't wait. I think I'm like halfway or more through it already.
What's
Um,
happening? What's the most recent thing that happened?
so I just beat Dagon Sarah or whatever the fuck his
You
name
can't
was.
be throwing these. I don't know what the fuck these people are. What they
The
look
that
like? What they do?
that Jedi dude from the past, from the High Republic. Like
Oh,
I finished his storyline and I beat him.
yeah, you ain't halfway.
Oh, more than halfway, almost to the end.
Well, then again, remember, for me, I felt like the game went long.
Okay,
Maybe I maybe I misinterpreted it.
okay.
But yeah, because I remember they built it up where it's just like he's the guy you got to
Yeah.
go after, and then they hit you with the swerve. It's like, oh,
Yeah, because you fight him 3 times. So I already fought him 3 times. He's dead. I really liked his fight because like he goes into that force mode and he has like the force arm, and I was like, that's fucking cool,
it
man.
was pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah, and I like all the stances for like the lightsabers, and you got the lightsaber and the blaster. I thought that was a cool addition. Um, obviously the fast travel. So like they added a lot of new features, and like obviously they made everything bigger, and it's a lot more fun to do. But But
You
thank
don't
God
even
for that new map, bro. It's been great.
have you. I don't know if it's. I don't want to spoil anything. Um, I really don't remember. Have you come across any like anything that has to do with bounty hunting at all?
Yeah, I've gotten like 3 or 4 bounty hunters
Oh, so
already.
you are. So you're already hunting bounty
Yeah,
hunters.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's pretty cool too. All the rumors and little side missions are pretty cool too.
So
So,
yeah, one thing I'm going to tell you about that specifically
mhm.
is I didn't do it because I was tired of the game. You know,
Okay.
I was intrigued in it, but literally I hit a point in the game where it's just like I just don't have it in me. I want
Yeah,
to see where this is going to lead. I literally was like, I'm pulling up a YouTube video to see where this ends.
yeah.
And it's one of those things where I am happy with my decision. I'm glad I didn't go back and play it. But you enjoying the game as much as you are, I highly recommend you finish the bounty hunter stuff.
Oh no, I will. Like
Yeah,
I've
you're gonna
even
really enjoy
like
where
I've
it
beaten every
ends.
single person in that
Yeah.
like tabletop strategy game already.
Okay.
Like I've
I
even
think I
played
think I
that.
did do that.
Yeah,
I always like those games. I
yeah,
like Gwent in The
yeah,
Witcher.
yeah.
You know, so it's
So
like I'm
I've
always a fan of that
so
stuff.
I've done that. I try to do all like the little missions. I try to go back once I get a new skill that opens up new ways of going through the map. I try to go back and do that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
but those are my final thoughts. All right. Thank you for listening to Los Wise Guys podcast. If you like what you hear, follow us on social media, like, subscribe, share, rate, review. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. Thank you, Henry, for joining us as always. You're the best. We'll see you in 2 weeks, bro. Deuces.